What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Chat with Chase. I'm your host, Chase, and before I get started, y'all, hope y'all having a great Friday. Well, the NFL season kicked off yesterday with the Hall of Fame game between the Houston Texans and the Chicago Bears. I'm excited that football is back. I can't wait. We're a month away from the regular season, and I'm excited, y'all. Speaking of regular season, in today's video, I will be talking about my team, the Dallas Cowboys. I will be going over their season schedule, my prediction on what their record will be. Not going to talk about where they're going to finish at in the postseason. That's a conversation for later. I'm going to talk about right now what I think their record will be and who their wins and losses will be against. So with that being said, let's get started. Week 1 at the Cleveland Browns. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a great game. They got a great defense. They got one of the top defensive players in Myles Garrett. I think it's going to be a good matchup for Tyler Guyton for his first NFL game. And it'll be our first matchup against Amari Cooper since when we traded him a couple years ago. So I don't understand why we traded him to this day still. But we got CeeDee Lamb, best receiver in the league. So it's all good. It is all good. I wish we would have kept him still, but it is all good. We got the best receiver in the league in CeeDee Lamb, so we're chilling. But we know they also got Jerry Jeudy. They got Nick Chubb coming back from an ACL injury. But I think the Cowboys win that game. They go into Cleveland, get the first win of the season. I think we're just a better team. I think our offense is going to torture that defense and their DBs. And Deshaun Watson, he has not been the old Deshaun Watson for I don't know how many years. But and I just think we're just going to pick him apart. I think we're going to intercept him a couple times. We're going to make him do something dumb and give us the ball back. And I think the Cowboys go win that game and start the season off 1-0. Week 2 against the New Orleans Saints. Week 2 at home, their home opener against the New Orleans Saints. Saints got a great defense. They got a great defense with Cameron Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore, Demario Davis, and Marcus Davenport. They got a great defense. Offense, I'm not too high on Derek Carr. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. They got a good receiver, Chris Olave. I'm an Ohio State fan, and that's where he went for college. So Chris Olave is their best receiver. He's a really good receiver. But I think the Cowboys do win that game. I think we're the better team all around. Dak Prescott's going to have a great game, especially at home. Same with CeeDee Lamb and our defense at home too. And I think the Cowboys get their second win of the season, going 2-0. Now, that's where it gets interesting right here. Week 3 at home against the Baltimore Ravens, hosting Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh. It's going to be a tough game. Got to be honest, it is really going to be a tough game. I think the Ravens will give us a run for our money. I like that we have this tough game early in the season, week 3, because I think it'll let us know where we're at. Like, see, okay, are we ready for this? Are we ready for the top dogs? And I like it. We know what Lamar Jackson is about. We know they got Zay Flowers, who had a great rookie season. I think he'll have a better second year. Mark Andrews, and now they got Derrick Henry in the backfield too. Defense, they got a great defense, starting with their 2 linebackers with Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith, along with their backfield, their defensive backs with Marlon Humphrey and Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Peters. But y'all might think I'm crazy for this, but I think the Cowboys get the win at home against the Baltimore Ravens. I think Dak Prescott is going to pick that defense apart. Same with CeeDee Lamb at home. I think we're going to get to Lamar Jackson. I think we're going to, because Lamar Jackson, he's kind of that, sometimes when you have to make him to be a passer, he tends to fall sometimes. We saw it against Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. And I think the Cowboys will do that, keep him in the pocket, don't let him run free, and sack him and force him to make dumb decisions. And I think the Cowboys do that, and they get the win, starting 3-0 for the season. Now, Thursday Night Football, Week 4 at the New York Giants. Now, we've had the Giants numbers for years. They had not beaten us since Dak Prescott's rookie year, and that was 2016. I think the Cowboys do blow them out, as they should. Again, we don't know how the Giants will look. This is early season prediction, but I think the Cowboys blow them out, as they should. I do like Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to be a great receiver in the NFL. He was great in college, second best receiver behind Marvin Harrison Jr. I thought he should have got talked about more, but it's okay. But I think he's going to have a great career in the NFL. But I think we got matches for him, and I think we'll lock him down. And I think the Cowboys are just overmatched on both sides of the ball, so that the Cowboys go into New York Week 4 on Thursday Night Football and get their 4th win of the year to go 4-0. Week 5 at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sunday Night Football at 7:20 p.m. Steelers are still looking at who their starting quarterback is going to be. They acquired Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and they're battling out for the starting QB position. They got two good receivers with George Pickens and Deontay Johnson, along with Najee Harris in the backfield. Defensively, they got T.J. Watt, who's the second best defensive player behind Micah Parsons. But I think the Cowboys win that game. Yet I know they got Joey Porter Jr. I think Joey Porter Jr. is a solid defensive back, but I don't think he's a matchup for CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb will tear him apart. I don't think he can guard it one-on-one. CeeDee's one of the best receivers against one-on-one coverages. Go look at the stats. He's behind Tyreek Hill, second. And I think the Cowboys go in there and get that win on Sunday Night Football to go 5-0 on the season. Now, Week 6 at home against the Detroit Lions. This past season, we played them on Saturday night, Jimmy Johnson night. Came down to the wire. It was a good game, but I don't think the Lions should have had a chance to go on that last drive to score. I thought Mike McCarthy had bad clock management. He was passing the ball too much, which allowed Detroit to save their timeouts and the clock to stop instead of running the ball, to keep the clock running and making Detroit use their timeouts. And Detroit came down. They scored a touchdown and they went for 2. They got it, but it got called back because it was an eligible man downfield. A lot of complaints about that call all over the media. I thought it was a good call. Not saying because I'm a Cowboys fan, but it was the right call. The offensive lineman was covered up. Therefore, if he's covered up, he cannot go downfield. Therefore, it is ineligible man downfield. So the Cowboys won that game. But this game, I think Detroit's going to come in with some hunger. They're going to try to get that win. I think they're going to feel that bad taste in the mouth from the last game. But I think it's not enough. I think the Cowboys, I think Dak Prescott, who will always have success against Jared Goff on the Lions, I think he'll continue that. And CeeDee Lamb, honestly, I think him and CeeDee will have similar games to what they did this past game. I really think that. I think CeeDee went for 230 receiving yards, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all let me know in the comments, please. And say I don't remember Dak Prescott's stats, so y'all let me know that too. But they both went off that game, and I think they do it this game. I think our defense picks Jared Goff apart. We intercept them a couple of times, and we win the game, and the Cowboys go 6-0 going into their bye week. Now, Week 8 after the bye week, going into Week 8 at the San Francisco 49ers. Now, we know that the Niners have had our number the last couple of years, and the last 3 years, actually. And we know what happened last year. We know they got dogs on the defensive side with Nick Bosa, Javon Hargrave. They got the best linebacker duo with Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner. They got one of the top cornerbacks in Charvarius Ward. Offensively, we know they got Brock Purdy at the quarterback position. Christian McCaffrey, probably the best running back in the NFL. They got great receivers with Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk. If he comes back, I think he will come back. I think Niners will get that contract situation done and he'll be back. But I think Dak Prescott will play better this game, and CeeDee Lamb, I think, will play better as a team, and it'll be a close game. I don't think we'll get blown out like we did last year, 42-10. I think that was just not Dallas Cowboy football, and I don't think it'll happen this year. But I do think we lose this game. I think the Niners they're just a better team. They're at home. It'll come down to the wire, but the Niners make that last play to win the game, giving us our first loss, being 6-1. Week 9 at the Atlanta Falcons. Not going to get into too much detail in this game because I think the Cowboys win that game straight up. I don't have too much confidence in Desmond Ridder. I like Bijan Robinson. I think he'll have a better second year. They got pretty good receivers with Drake London and Kyle Pitts, but I think the Cowboys are just overmatched for the Falcons, and the Cowboys go into Atlanta, get the win, going 7-1. Now, always looking forward to this game. Week 10 at home for their first matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles. We know the history, it's a rivalry, division rival, but this is the big rivalry right here. We know our fan bases don't like each other, especially well, it's all fun against Rock and a trash talk, but when it's Cowboys and Eagles week, it's a war going on between Cowboys and Eagles fans. We know our fan bases don't like each other. It's going to be a good game though. Although last year, the first time we played them at Philly, they got us. We should have won that game, but it is what it is. It was a close game though. Second time we played them at Dallas, we whooped them 33-13. I don't think it'll be that game again. Most of our games that we play them, it's always down to the wire, no matter what. The Eagles are a great team. Starting with the offense, Lane Johnson is always a matchup for Micah Parsons. We'll see how their center is without Jason Kelsey and Jordan Mailata against D-Law. And then they're off their receivers. They got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. They added Saquon Barkley. But I think we got matches. I think Trayvon Diggs will do a solid job on AJ Brown, Deron Bland on Devontae Smith. I think we'll shut down Saquon. Look at Saquon's history against the Dallas Cowboys, even when he was with the Giants. Yeah, you could say he had a trash old line, but I think the Cowboys shut him down. Jalen Hurts, he's a good quarterback, but I feel like a lot of people hype him up too much, thinking he's all that. He hasn't proven that he's a passer yet. And Kellen Moore, his new offensive coordinator, is a passing offense. Look at how he was with Dak Prescott. And I just think Jalen Hurts he just hasn't proven he's a passer yet, and I feel like he's going to try to do too much. And I think we get the win. I think, their defense, Eagles, I know you can say they got Darius Big Play Slay. I don't know why y'all call him that, because he don't make any big plays. But I think our offense is too much for the Eagles defense. I think CeeDee Lamb, look at the history with Dak Prescott against the Eagles. He always has success against the Eagles, no matter what, no matter where it's at. And I think he continues that and has a success against the Eagles. And CeeDee Lamb has a great game that game. And the Cowboys get the win to go 8-1. Now, week 11 at home against the Houston Texans. Not going to lie, before I was making this video, guys, I was going back and forth. Because I already knew I was going to talk about the schedule, but I'm like, man, Cowboys going to win this game, I think. But then I'm like, nah, Texans going to win. Then I'm like, Cowboys, but then I'm like, I'm going back and forth. And it's hard for me, and I'll tell you what my decision is now. I made my decision who I think is going to win this game. I'll tell that in a little bit. But it's just you want that for an NFL game, where it's like, man, it is hard to choose who I'm going to pick to win this game, because these are two great football teams going head to head. I'll start with the Texas offense. They acquired Stephon Diggs. They acquired Joe Mixon. They got Nico Collins. They got Tank Dell. They got Dalton Schultz. They beat up the offensive line a bit. Defensively, they were a pretty solid defense last year, but I think they got better this year, adding Daniil Hunter to the lineup. They got Will Anderson, Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think he'll have a better second year. Christian Harris at the linebacker spot. Defensive backs, they got Derek Stingley and Jimmy Ward on the other on both sides. So I think the Texans, they're going to be a really good team, and I think they'll be that team. Not saying they're going to stop the Chiefs, but if there's any team I got the Chiefs still coming up the AFC, I'm not going to bet against Mahomes. But if I think there's any team that can stop the Chiefs from going back to the Super Bowl, I believe it is the Houston Texans in the AFC. And Dallas's offense, I think they're good matches for their defense, and our defense is a good match for their offense. I think Dak Prescott will have a great game. Same with CeeDee Lamb. Michael will have a good game. It's just going to go back and forth. But I do think the Texans do pull this one off, and they give us our second loss of the year, putting us at 8-2. Week 12 at the Washington Commanders with their new head coach, Dan Quinn, who was our defensive coordinator for the last 3 seasons. I think he sabotaged us in that playoff game because he ran man all season and the years before that. And all of a sudden, this playoff game, he decides to go zone. I don't get that. But not only that, he tried to take our defensive backs head coach. He requested permission to interview him, Al Harris, and they said no. Jerry Jones said no. And then he took some of our players in free agency. Then not only that, he also tried to still take some of our players too. But I think he sabotaged. But it's all in all, I think the Cowboys go in there and they win that game. Jaden Daniels, I think Jaden Daniels will be a good quarterback in the NFL. I think he was great in college, Heisman for a reason. But I think he'll be a good quarterback in the NFL. But I just don't think he's I just don't know if he can handle all that pressure coming from Micah, D-Law, Eric Kendricks, just our whole D line, Osa Digizua, and we got weapons for the receiver. I mean, look at Terry McLaurin's stats versus Trayvon Diggs. He don't get nothing on Trayvon Diggs. Same with Deron Bland and all that too. So I think the Cowboys go in there and get that win, putting them at 9-2. Week 13, Thanksgiving Day, at home against the New York Giants. Not gonna go into too much detail. I think the Cowboys blow this team out. They blow them out again. I think we're just overmatched for the Giants, and they just go in there and just take care of business, putting them at 10-2. Week 15. I mean, not week 15. Sorry, week 14. Monday night against the Cincinnati Bengals at home, hosting Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good matchup for our defense. Trayvon Diggs against Jamar Chase. And but their defense is not that good. They got Trey Hendrickson. He's a really good edge rusher, but I don't think they got DBs to match up with CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, or Jake Ferguson. And I think Dak Prescott's going to pick that defense apart, which is why I believe they go into that game and they take care of business and get the win. I think Joe Burrow will have a good game because it's Joe Burrow. But I think we'll give Joe Burrow a little bit of problems because his O-line is not that good, and I think we'll get to him and put pressure on him. But I think with our offense and Cincinnati's defense, I think the Cowboys go in there and win that game, putting us at 11-2. Now, week 15 at the Carolina Panthers. I think this one is a trap game. I do think because there's always that game every year with the Cowboys that if there's a game every year with the Cowboys that they lose, that they should have won that game, and I believe it will be this game. So I believe they go into Carolina coming off a big win against the Cincinnati Bengals. They come in 2 days ago, a little too confident in themselves, and they kind of play around. They end up losing that game. So I think we do lose to the Carolina Panthers, putting us at 11-3. Week 16 at home, Sunday Night Football on NBC against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, hosting Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin. They got a good defense. They got a solid defense. They did lose some players. You know, Shaq Barrett went to the Dolphins, and I believe he retired. Then they lost Devin White, who's with the Philadelphia Eagles now. They got Levante David. They got Vita Vea. They got Carlton Davis and Antoine Winfield. But I don't think they're matches for our offense for Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. I don't. Baker Mayfield, yeah, he's coming off a pretty good season from his first year at Tampa Bay. That's why he got an extension. He deserved it. But I don't know. I think our defense is going to get to him. I think we're going to shut down Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And the Cowboys get the win, going 12-3. 12-3. Week 17. Second matchup to conclude their series at the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, it's going to be another close game. It's always a close game, but I do think the Eagles do win this one because every year we always split it with them 1-1. It's usually the home team wins. So Philadelphia will beat us at their place and we'll beat them at our place. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles win this game. It's going to be a close game again, but the Eagles pull this one off and beat us, putting us at 12-4. Now, last game, week 18 at home against the Washington Commanders. I think the Cowboys win this game. I think they win this game. I think they come in there, you know, they're going to clinch the playoffs. They'll come in here and take care of business and win the game, get ready for the playoffs, finishing the season at 13-4 and winning the division. Not saying they'll be the number 1 seed. We'll see how that goes. It'd be great if we do get that first round bye in the playoffs, but we'll see. But I think they finished out 13-4 and win the division a second year in a row. That hasn't happened since, I believe, 2006 and 2007 with the Philadelphia Eagles. Because ever since then, it's always been one team wins, then another team wins it. But I think the Cowboys break that record and they make the history by having another repeat, having another team be the division winners 2 years in a row, and they finish out 13-4. I think Dak Prescott has a great season. I think CeeDee Lamb finishes as he usually does, top 5, probably top 2. But I think Dak Prescott has an MVP caliber season. I feel like CeeDee Lamb will be an Offensive Player of the Year candidate. I think he was this year, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know in the comments, please. But I think he'll be an Offensive Player of the Year candidate. Same, Dak Prescott will be an MVP candidate. He'll have an MVP season. I think he could finish again leading the league in passing touchdowns. Because I know a lot of haters out there like to hate on Dak, but I think he'll have a big season this year. Second year of Mike McCarthy calling plays. He's been balling in training camp, and he's balling at training camp, and he don't even have CeeDee Lamb, guys. He doesn't even have his number 1 receiver there. So wait till he gets him back, and he's picking apart our defense and how great they are. Oh, man. He's going to have a great season. I'm really excited for him. Got a lot of respect for Dak Prescott, man. Like I said, I think he gets too much hate. I think it's ridiculous, but he'll silence those haters. I think Dak Prescott will come in with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to have a great season. Same with CeeDee Lamb. And I think this whole team is just going to have a great season in general. And I'm excited. I really am excited, guys. Not saying this is our year. I'm not that fan. We just got to see what happens. But I think they will have a great regular season. Again, they'll finish 13-4 and win the division a second year in a row, making history. And the team is just going to be fun to watch, as they usually are. They're going to have a great season. I'm excited, and I can't wait. Just a month away, guys. Just a month away. That's it. And football is back. But thank y'all guys for watching this. Hope you like and subscribe to this channel, and I will see y'all next time.